Hello there, friends of freedom. This is real news time. So let's talk about wildfires. Amid raging wildfires, fire management practices criticized. So we've talked about this a little bit in the past about how the roadless areas and whatnot and the wilderness acts and all that shit, how we're not allowed to go out in the woods and do anything, cut down trees, thin, clear out biomass, and that stuff, and led to all these forests just turning to shit. So this is an article out of the Capital Press. It says, we've allowed the forests to develop that never developed naturally, said John Bailey, a professor of fire management at Oregon State University in Corvallis. As a result, we have longer and hotter fire season that drive these megafires. So, and there's a picture. We can buy that picture. It says a wildfire continues to burn on the Oregon side of the Columbia River Gorge near Cascade Locks, Oregon, and the Bridge of the Gods, late Tuesday, September 5th. So, intense wildfires plaguing much of the West have rekindled controversy over logging restrictions and fire management practices that critics say have created explosive fire seasons. We've been talking about this shit for a while now, guys. Don't act like it's something fucking new. Oh my god, our forest management practices. U.S. Senator Ron Wyden, an Oregon Democrat, took the floor on the Senate on Thursday to describe the toll the fires have taken. Efforts to thin dead and dying trees have been inadequate, he said as he stood next to a large photo of flames leaping from trees in the majestic Columbia River Gorge. What I find interesting is now that Portland is on fire, there seems to be an issue. Anyway, like he said, efforts to thin dead and dying trees have been inadequate. So we haven't been clearing the underbrush. We haven't fired up the biomass plants like we said we were going to do and clear all that shit out and cut down the shitty trees and turn them into stuff. But now we've just decided to stop working in the fucking woods altogether and shut down entire economies and buy our boards from Canada and China. Which is a real kick in the ass. If you look at China, the fucking wood that we buy from there. So I've got friends that work out in the woods here in Oregon. They go and they cut down trees. Those trees come down here and go to a mill, and they get the outside shaved off. They get put on a boat, shipped over to fucking Japan and China, cut into 2x4s, and then shipped back over here for us to buy at Home Depot. Now tell me that makes any fucking sense. Anyway, there's a years-long pattern in the West, he said, calling for smarter policies and criticizing the broken system of fighting wildfires. He complained that federal funds earmarked for fire prevention are instead used for firefighting. The idea of ripping off prevention, which you need most, defies common sense, Wyden said. Shoddy budgeting today leads to bigger fires tomorrow. So, I like Ron Wyden. He's a Democrat. I don't really give a fuck what you are. He stands up for us down here quite a bit. Fires have charred more than 12,000 square miles while shrouding vast areas of the West in smoke and destroying homes and historic lodges. Remember the videos I did not too long ago about the respirators and dust masks and shit? Holy fuck, man, my voice still ain't working from all that. Some experts say the policy of fighting wildfires whenever they break out and sharply limiting logging and other forest thinning has created a combustible situation in which forests have grown too thick and too close together. It's almost like we fucking told you that since the 90s. It's like we've been saying this. Anyway, Oregon State Senator Herman, whatever the hell that name is, Berkshire Jr., wrote to the chair of the Senate Environment and Natural Resources Committee calling for a work group to revamp the policy. There we go. Let's get some people in there in suits up in Portland to fucking talk about it, or up in Salem to talk about it. That'll fucking solve it. The inability to manage our forest resources due to environmental concerns is threatening the safety and well-being of Oregonians and ultimately damaging our beautiful state, the Republican wrote. And he's absolutely fucking right. Not only is it destroying our economy by not being out in the woods, cutting down trees, replanting forests, it put a lot of people out of work, a lot of loggers, a lot of tree planters, a lot of mechanics. Dude, there was a lot of money in this economy a long time ago, back before we shut all this shit down, I'm telling you. In Oregon alone, at least 822 square miles have burned so far this year, an area over half the size of Rhode Island. The 2014 wildfire season claimed 911 square miles. We've allowed forests to develop that never developed naturally. That's the same quote we read at the beginning. A fire becomes a megafire when it reaches 156 square miles. A megafire burn in southwest Oregon increased to 277 square miles, authorities said Thursday. Bailey said the solution is thinning forests through logging, prescribed burns, and allowing naturally occurring fires to be managed instead of extinguished. No shit. No fucking shit. Anyway, there is now a record amount of fire fuels such as trees and brush in the west, and forests that were once separate now overlap, he said. Oregon is not harvesting enough timber, nor reducing fuel loads to ensure the health and natural resiliency of our forests, Republican State Rep Sherry Springer said. Paul F. Hesberg Sr., a U.S. Forest Service research landscape ecologist, told an audience in Bend, Oregon in May that forest fuels are at powder keg levels. Highlight that son of a bitch. Let's look at it too. Been talking about this since the fucking 90s. We haven't been managing our forests properly. Here's where we get the good shit. So far, it has cost the federal, state, and local governments, along with private groups, at least $238.5 million to fight the fires in Oregon. The Oregon Department of Forestry said. It's bankrupting us, Bailey said. The irony is, we steal from the positive things we can do to keep suppressing, even though suppressing makes next year's fire season worse. So it's almost like some of these assholes know what they're talking about, huh? Usually elected officials don't know a goddamn thing. We've been talking about the forest management practices of the Pacific Northwest for a long goddamn time. And you have a whole bunch of people who live in urban areas, in cities, who live in concrete, who think that they know best how to manage a forest. I can almost guarantee you that a majority of them fuckfaces haven't been out in a forest and don't have any goddamn clue what a forest even does. They go to Home Depot, they get a 2x4. That's about it. That's the closest contact they have with an actual fucking tree, besides hiking up there in the place in Portland that just now burnt down. So I think their tune's going to start to change, and now we're going to start seeing people going back to work in the forest and clearing out some of this bullshit. Hopefully we can dig ourselves out of this mess after we have a committee or two and waste some tax dollars sitting around bullshitting about it. Or you come down here to the woods, you could ask us fucking rednecks how to take care of the forest, and we got a lot of people down here who know their shit. And they'll help you figure out how to solve the forest fire problem. Until then, fuck it. Your next one's going to burn down. What's the other big monument up there you guys got that you like so much, that you drive an hour to go see outside of your concrete? The same goddamn thing's going to happen. Stay safe, dudes. Thanks for watching.